Hello everyone, one and all, welcome back to the Philadelphia Soul Arena Football Road to Glory Season Mode, GM Mode, Dynasty Mode, whatever you want to call it. It's a season mode in the game, but we are heading into our Week 2 matchup against the Predators. We're not going to go week by week, but I will highlight more matchups than I typically do in like the Bengals franchise just to get a better look at the league because that's what I find interesting. But we're starting the season off on a losing streak here. We've only lost our first game, which was our home opener to the Chicago Rush. So now we have to travel down to Florida, to Orlando, to take on the Predators, another arena royalty franchise, if you will. I won't give too much history on the league here, but I will highlight some teams. The Predators are one of the, not OG teams, but they were around for a long time in the Arena League. They started out in the early to mid-90s, and they've since kind of went away and come back. They were gone in the mid-2000s, and then they came back, I think, in the late 2010s, or gone in the mid-2010s, and then they came back, I think, in the late 2010s or early 2020s in the National Arena League, and now they're in the third iteration of the Arena Football League. So they do exist today. Unfortunately, the Soul technically do not, but it's okay, because we're going to try and maybe change the legacy a bit here and just have some fun with it here. But we pick up a nice first down here. We were moving the ball early on in this game, and Graziano's going to go for the long ball, and he finds Mr. Scott himself wide open in the blue here. Had a nice lead on his man, and Orlando does not have the walls on the back of their end zone, so we can run out and not risk getting hurt. So we take an early lead here over the Predators, and we get the pressure. Bilbo gets the pressure on the quarterback as he gets rid of that football into the carpet safely. So on fourth down, Orlando's going to keep the offense on the field, and that is a humongous mistake as he throws an interception. It's going to end up being a pick six for our defense. So we had a couple interceptions last week, as both quarterbacks had disaster games, and so we already jump out to a 14-0 lead early on in this game here. So Orlando's got another shot with the football, and we're going to go for a deep ball themselves, and it's going to work out perfectly for them as they find an open man. So Orlando answers back to our two scores and adds a score of their own. So we have an opportunity here to extend up to two scores again here, and we're going to certainly try, and a shimmy and a move by Scott is going to get him into open field and brought down at the Orlando 15-yard line. So just one play is all it takes to flip the field, and on 3rd and 2, we're going to try and run for it, and we do not get it as Orlando stuffs us at the line. So it's going to be a 4th down now. We're going to send out the kicking unit to try and take our 3 points, and we nail it through. France has been pretty good for us so far this season. He's nailed a pretty long field goal last season, and he gives us a 10-point lead at the end of the first quarter over the Predators. So going to see if we can hang on to that one at least for a little bit, try and get a win here. So on Orlando's next drive here, it's another completion. We have every single man on defense over there, but it was still a completion. He gets knocked up against the boards, and it's going to be a first down for Orlando. And our defense clearly does not like that, but I would recommend that they just play better defense if they don't want to get celebrated on. So from our 19-yard line here, Orlando, it's an absolute laser to the right side of the field, and their man is completely wide open. That number 80 right there causes a ton of grief throughout this game. So Stafford is laying up absolute dimes here. And no, it's not Matt Stafford. This is Arena Stafford, so... but again, I'm sure the quarterback for Orlando in this game is also another Arena legacy person. If you're an Orlando Predators fan, you probably might know who that is, as Mr. Scott is getting free once again in open field and finding the end zone yet again. So our lead of 10 points is holding, but Orlando cannot be held down for long as they are going to drive yet again, and it's just a back-and-forth affair. We cannot even keep up, man. So with inches to go, Stafford's actually going to drop back and uncork this one deep downfield, and he finds, there he is again. I told you, man, he's going to cause us a ton of problems all game, and already it's been a bit of a mess for our defense trying to contain him and Orlando's passing offense. So it's actually been pretty efficient, minus that interception early on in the game, but Orlando seems to be making up for it, and boom, just a burst of speed, escapes from the defense, and he's going to high step into the end zone. I guess you might as well if you make him look that silly. But there you see consecutive completions. So Stafford is absolutely putting on a clinic right now here in the second quarter, and Orlando has closed the gap to just 3 points now. So we need to get moving on offense pretty efficiently, and that's not how you do it. As Graziano gets absolutely crushed off the edge. He gets completely unguarded from our fullback, who doesn't even pick him up, and it's going to be a scoop and score by Orlando. So they're actually going to take the lead late here in the first half. just inside the 1 minute warning, and Orlando's actually going to set up here for an onside kick if you can pay attention to the formation. So Orlando's going to try and get the ball back and maybe even take an even bigger lead, and it actually ends up being a pretty smart decision as they recover the onside kick. It's actually pretty easy here with the way dog piles work to get your onside kick back. So Orlando's got a prime opportunity here. It's 4th and 7 though, which is 50 seconds left to go. Stafford has a pretty clean pocket, and he's going to float this one out to the walls, and we actually have that one pretty well covered as number 80 had 2 guys on him. So it's a turnover on downs, and now we have great field position before the end of the half, but Graziani gets absolutely clobbered, gets leveled, but there is twisting, so that's going to wipe that play away and give us a fresh set of downs inside the 10-yard line. So 42 seconds left to go. Jeez, I'm trying to talk so fast, I'm spitting over my tongue. And Graziani fires to the corner of the end zone, and our receiver cannot haul that one in as he is clobbered. And you see us running the hurry up, man. That's because the clock's going to run. It doesn't matter incompletion or not, man. The clock is going to continue to run. So as we let a lot of time burn trying to set up here and get into the end zone before the half is over, and it's an absolute laser across the middle of the field by Graziani, and it is completed at about the 1-yard line. Look at that, dude. That is, I mean, that's breaking the plane. That's a touchdown. Come on. Whatever. They got their own rules, so clock is ticking within 20 seconds here. Graziani's taking all day just to decide what to do, I guess. But he's going to drop back and try and throw for it, oddly enough, and fortunately that works out for us as we do manage to get inside the end zone. And because the clock continues to tick, weirdly, it'll tick down to 000s while you're lined up for your extra point. I guess the AI is going to call timeout here just so we can kick our extra point, even though I don't think the half would have ended anyway. But we do kick it, and we retake a 3-point lead over the Predators. And there you see the first half kind of stats. I think I cut that out of the first game just because it's not super important here, but you can see it's a very even game back and forth. We've been absolutely just exchanging blows, essentially. And it's been an absolute wild ride so far, so we're going to get into the second half action. We really need to contain Orlando's passing offense because it's been pretty nuts here in the second quarter. In the first quarter, it was kind of a mess here. They took a little bit to get started, but you know, things are working out well for them. And pay attention to those nets, too. That's the fun thing about this game, or one of them, I guess, is, you know, we have the nets that we can play off of. So 2nd and 10 for Orlando's offense here on this opening drive in the second half, and they're going to send the man in motion. Stafford's going to drop back. He's got some good coverage up front and lasers it to, I think it was Moulton, our receiver linebacker duo, and he is going to catch that one and take it into the end zone for the second pick six of the game. So only 2 interceptions for Stafford, and they're both pick sixes. So we extend our lead to 10 points now, and Orlando's got another opportunity to try and clear that. And he gets absolutely hammered off of that snap, dude. It's like sandwiched by both of our ends, and somehow that ball is able to wobble out with enough speed, enough downfield force to get to an open man. So Orlando manages to flip the field, even though we had amazing pass rush on that play that time. So they're going to go with a pitch here, and a stiff arm is going to give them just enough time to reach that corner and get into the end zone, basically diving for the pylon. It would be the NFL equivalent, but he does manage to get in. So Orlando is able to do something with their offensive opportunity and get the lead, or cut the lead rather, back to 3 points. So, but we have a pretty decent field position. We're going to send a man in motion. Graziani's got a good coverage up front here, plenty of daylight in front of him, but he cannot find an open man as we turn the ball over on downs again. So we've done that a lot. We've been an absolutely horrendous team on third down already, and I'm not entirely sure what can be fixed about that. You noticed in the first video I didn't really try and fix much about the team. I just really want to run this and see what we can do already with the roster that we have. So it's a third down situation for Orlando, but they have great field position, and they're able to find an open man and get a first down inside of the 10. So it's going to be first and goal for Orlando as they look to punch it in and to retake the lead for the first time since earlier on in this game. And a very similar play to the score that they had on the last drive. This time there are more Soul players in the vicinity who are unable to keep him out of the end zone. So he finds the end zone again, or rather the Predators do, and they retake the lead in this game. 42-38 is your score at the end of the third quarter. At least I think that's the second time they've retaken the lead, right? Yeah, I mean, we've exchanged it. I don't know. They've been playing behind us all game here, but we're in a good spot here. Graziani steps up into the pressure, and somehow that ball gets out of his hand, and it's not a fumble, but, I mean, hey, I'll take that. So, but it is fourth down, and pay attention to this. This is weird. It's a full field goal here, and they're going to field it, which is illegal to do, but it glitches the game out and counts as a touchdown for Orlando. which I don't know if I'm missing something there, but I don't know. Orlando now takes an 11-point lead over us, and now Graziani's going to start laying up some absolute hot buns fresh out of the oven for the opposing defense. And yeah, the wheels are going to start coming off here, and we are staring our second loss here early on in this season, as we do not manage to score again. Our offense is silenced yet again late in this game, and Orlando was able to add on a few more field goals and win this one 55-38. So absolutely brutal way to start our season here, 0-2 in 2 games that I guess we really probably, I don't want to say should have won, but I mean, we were in a prime position in both games. We led for a good majority of this game, so losing it is really almost inexcusable. It's really kind of rough. So Graziano's had a really rough start to the season, but he's one of the better quarterbacks in the game. I actually think in the other arena football game, he's like a 97, but Orlando did outthrow us here. Stafford really locked in and was like, great. Once again, we for our second straight game, we have negative rushing yards. We need to at least be in the positives if we want to try and win these games here. We did convert on 2 third downs, which is something we didn't do in the last game, so yeah, we can at least say that. So looking over the stats here before we close this one out, again, completion percentage is really just not great, and when you throw as much as you do in the Arena League, that needs to be a little bit higher, just a little bit better. So nothing much to really talk about here in terms of rushing attack. Sean Scott has a productive game again, but does not find the end zone oddly enough. But this time we do have more pancakes to talk about, so the O-line was a little bit more productive. That's good to see. Sean Scott did lead the team in tackles, though, so that is nice to see. In the next one, we will cover our next game here, so I hope to see you guys in episode 3.